That morning when I opened the conference room door, it wasn't my heart that stopped, it was my entire world. The board members were applauding. On the projector were every slide I had designed, every graph I had written, every detail I had stayed up countless nights perfecting. And the man standing at the podium, Marcus Hayes, my business partner. Or so I thought. "Excellent presentation, Marcus," said CEO Patricia Williams, smiling. "This project will take the company to the next level." Marcus bowed his head with a humble manner. "Thank you. It's all about teamwork. After all, teamwork." My coffee cup trembled. The hot coffee was burning my fingers, but I didn't even feel it. Because at that moment, the only thing I felt was a massive emptiness opening in my chest. My name wasn't mentioned, not even once. My name is Charlotte Miller. I'm 52 years old, and I've been working at Silver Lake Marketing Solutions for the past 22 years. When I started, I was a young assistant. Now I'm a senior marketing director, or I was. Until this morning, our office in Austin, Texas, is in a modern skyscraper with city views through glass walls. Every morning, I get my grande latte from the same Starbucks, sit at the same desk, open the same Excel files. My life was orderly, predictable, safe. I'm married. I have 2 kids. One in college, the other a high school senior. My husband David is an engineer at a construction company. Every Saturday, we barbecue in the backyard of our home in Pinecrest Heights. The American dream, right? White picket fences, green lawns, smiling neighbors. But that morning, in that conference room when I heard those applause, it wasn't a dream anymore. It became a nightmare. Because someone else was presenting a project I had prepared without my name being mentioned. I had devoted months of my life to this project. Marcus Hayes had joined the company 6 months ago. 45 years old, handsome, charismatic, articulate. Harvard MBA graduate. His resume was flawless. From day one, he got along with everyone. He was the CEO's favorite, and me. I mentored him. I taught him everything. "Charlotte, you've been doing this for years," he had said the first week. "I want to learn so much from you." How sincere he seemed. There was that genuine admiration in his eyes. Or so I thought. Little did I know he was going to steal my projects. 3 months ago, Patricia had given me a new project. "Charlotte, this is big. We need to land Meridian Tech, a Fortune 500 company, as a client. The strategic plan is in your hands. Marcus can help you." "Sure," I had said. "We'll work together." From that day on, Marcus came to my desk every day. "How's it going, Charlotte? Can I help with anything?" He was at every meeting, taking notes at every brainstorming session. "You're amazing, Charlotte," he would say. "Thinking in such detail is incredible." And I would smile. "It's experience, Marcus. After 20 years, you'll be like this too." Now that I think about it, there was something in his eyes back then. A glimmer, hunger, calculation. But I didn't want to see it, because I'm a well-intentioned person. I assume everyone is like me. That's why I was sharing everything I knew with him. How naive I was. The project lasted 3 months. For 3 months, I stayed at the office until 8 every evening. When David asked, "Late again?" I had said, "This project will be the peak of my career." On weekends, I sat at Starbucks for hours with my laptop. Data, graphs, strategies. Everything came from my brain. Every slide, every word, every recommendation was mine. I had poured 20 years of experience into this project, Marcus. He was there too, of course. "While you handle this part, Charlotte, let me do that research," he would say. "Or you focus on the presentation. I'll organize the Excel tables." But the truth is, he did nothing. He just watched, learned, copied. I did everything. Of course, I can't deny that he helped me, but since he had no experience, he contributed nothing of his own to the project. And like a fool, I shared everything with him. "Look, Marcus, this strategy works like this. This data supports this, ... When presenting, pay attention to this ... I was digging my own grave. How could I have known he would steal my presentation and present it as his own? 2 weeks ago, Patricia called me into her office. "Charlotte, you've done an amazing job," she said. "But Marcus will give the board presentation." My heartbeat quickened. What? Why? Because Marcus is a better presenter. You're an excellent strategist, Charlotte, but the stage isn't your forte. You know that. I bit my lip. Yes, I didn't enjoy presentations. But this was my project, Patricia. This is my words were cut off. "Charlotte," she said, with that no discussion look in her eyes, "we're doing what's best for the company. Marcus presents, and you get recognition for the teamwork. Everyone wins." Everyone wins. What a lie that sentence was. Because my name would never be mentioned. That morning, I entered the conference room and watched the presentation. Marcus had memorized every word. My words, my strategies, my dreams. And the board was applauding. Patricia stood up. "Marcus, this requires vision. You truly have exceptional talent." As if I had done nothing. Marcus smiled. That fake, humble smile. "Thank you, Patricia. This success doesn't belong to me alone, of course. As a team, but he didn't mention my name." "But the leadership is yours," CFO Daniel Brooks interjected. "And I think you deserve a promotion." I did everything, but the leadership was Marcus's. Plus, he was getting a promotion. That word echoed in my head. My eyes welled up, but I didn't cry. I just sat and watched. When the meeting ended, everyone left. Marcus winked at me. "Went well, didn't it, Charlotte?" I couldn't speak. That evening at home, David said, "Good day." "Yes," I said. "Very good." But I didn't sleep that night. I just stared at the ceiling and thought, a woman sometimes feels everything. She just waits for evidence. And that night I decided, Marcus Hayes. You messed with the wrong woman. The next morning I got to the office earlier than usual. It was 6:30, only the security guard was in the building. "Good morning, Mrs. Miller," he said at the door. "Starting early today." "Yes, Tom," I said with a smile. Busy times. In the elevator, I looked in the mirror. There were slight purplish circles under my eyes. But there was something else in my eyes. Clarity. I wasn't crying anymore. I was making plans. I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. The first thing I did was access the company's internal system. I had access to every file, every email, every shared document. The advantage of 22 years of seniority. I found Marcus's folder. Meridian Tech Project. I clicked and I saw it. All the files were there. Everything I had created. But when I looked at the metadata, I noticed something interesting. Some of the files appeared as created from Marcus's computer. But the original dates were 3 days after my dates, so Marcus had copied my files, resaved them on his own computer, and made them look like he had created them. This was literally theft. I had found the smoking gun. Asterisk, I took a sip from my coffee cup. It had gone cold, but I didn't care. I started creating a table in Excel.date file name. Original creator, copier, modification, date, row was evidence. Each cell was proof. For 2 hours, I worked without getting up. My fingertips danced on the keyboard. My brain was working at full speed. At 8:30, the first employees started arriving. Sarah, the young assistant, came over to me. "Good morning, Charlotte. Want some coffee?" "No thanks, Sarah," I said. "I'm all set." She smiled and walked away. No one noticed anything. No one saw the storm raging inside me because I was a woman who worked silently. I wasn't the type to shout and scream. But that wasn't my weakness. It was my strength. During lunch break, I left the office. But not to eat. To meet with a lawyer, I went to a law firm in downtown Austin. One of the best employment lawyers I found online, Jennifer Morrison. Her office was modern, elegant, but warm. Framed diplomas on white walls. A mahogany desk. And sitting across from me, a sharp-eyed woman in her mid-40s. "Mrs. Miller," said Jennifer, extending her hand. "You gave few details on the phone." "I'm listening." I sat down and told her everything. From Marcus joining the company, to how he said he was helping on the project but actually copied everything. To the applause in that conference room, Jennifer was taking notes. Her face showed nothing. It was a professional mask. "Do you have evidence?" she asked. I pulled out a USB from my bag. "Everything is here. File metadata, email chains, original drafts, all of it." Jennifer took the USB and plugged it into her computer. Her eyes scanned the screen. For 5 minutes, she didn't speak. She just looked. Then she turned back to me and smiled. A small, understanding smile. "Mrs. Miller, you have a very strong case. Intellectual property theft, credit stealing, even ethical violation can be claimed. What should I do?" I asked. "First, don't do anything," said Jennifer. Don't tell anyone anything. Don't act. Don't confront Marcus. Just wait and gather more evidence. I'll also review the company's internal policies. Most companies have ethics committees for situations like this. Ethics committee. Yes, I'm sure Silver Lake has one too. And if you go to the board with solid evidence, Marcus's career is over. A woman's heart both tightened and opened at that moment. Because I wasn't alone anymore. There was a plan. Jennifer put her hand on the desk. "Charlotte, remember this. Justice sometimes comes slowly. But it comes, you must be ready." "I'm ready," I said, and I was. When I returned to the office, Marcus saw me in the hallway. "Hey, Charlotte," he said in that fake warm voice. "Where were you at lunch? I looked for you in the cafeteria." "I went out," I said, smiling. "I needed some fresh air." "I understand," he said, touching my shoulder. That plastic courtesy was in his voice. "Yesterday was a tough day. But it went great, didn't it?" "Yes, Marcus," I said. "It was great." He left. I sat at my desk and laughed to myself because Marcus didn't know. He didn't know that I was no longer just an employee. I wasn't prey. I was a hunter. During that week, I did more research. I found Silver Lake's ethics and integrity policy document on the company's intranet system. I read it page by page. Article 9 stated, "If any employee appropriates another employee's intellectual labor, this situation will be considered intellectual property theft and disciplinary action will be initiated." Article 9. That was my weapon. "Sorry, Marcus, I will never allow you to steal the work I did. You're going to pay the price for this." I also reviewed my emails. All correspondence with Marcus. I found one from 3 months ago. "Marcus, Charlotte, this strategic framework is great. Can I use this in the presentation?" "Me, sure, Marcus, but please present it as teamwork. Because this is the product of 20 years of my experience." "Marcus, absolutely, Charlotte. You're the leader on this project. I saved it, printed it, filed it. Each piece of evidence was a brick. And I was building a wall. That Friday, Patricia sent an email to the entire office. "Dear team, we have great news. Marcus Hayes has been promoted to Vice President of Strategy due to his outstanding success on the Meridian Tech project. Please extend our congratulations to him." My hands trembled, but my face remained calm. Sarah came over to me. "This is unfair, Charlotte. Everyone knows how hard you worked on that project." "Thank you, Sarah," I said. "But teamwork is important." Sarah nodded, but there was doubt in her eyes. She knew. Others knew too, but no one was speaking up. That evening when I got home, David was in the kitchen. He was making spaghetti. "How was your day?" he asked. "Normal," I said. But something was burning inside me. Not anger, determination. I didn't tell David anything. Not yet, because a woman fights some battles alone. I lay in bed, but I didn't sleep. I just thought Jennifer Morrison was right. Justice comes slowly, but it comes, and I was patient. The next step, present the evidence to the board. But first, I had to wait for the right moment. Marcus thought he had one now, but that was just the first round. The real match was just beginning when I opened that file. It wasn't my heart that gave out, it was my patience. Because I wasn't watching silently anymore. I was taking action now. Monday morning when I entered the office, everything was normal. Or so it appeared. People were drinking their coffee, rushing to meetings, talking on phones. Marcus was sitting in his new corner office. The vice president plaque was shining on his door, but I knew. The time bomb was ticking. Jennifer Morrison had called me over the weekend. "Charlotte, are you ready?" She had said. Yes, I had said. When? Wednesday. There's a board meeting. I sent an email to Patricia Williams. I invited you with the subject line, urgent ethical concern. Be ready. Wednesday. 2 days away, my heart was beating fast, but my hands were steady. During those 2 days, Marcus acted as usual. When he saw me in the hallway, he smiled, waved, sometimes asked, "How are you, Charlotte?" And I smiled too. "I'm fine, Marcus. How are you?" "Great." Trying to get used to the new position. Very excited. Excited. I wanted to laugh inside, but I showed nothing on my face. Tuesday afternoon, Sarah came over to me. She whispered, "Charlotte, there's a rumor about Marcus. Some people are saying he carried out the Meridian project through you, really." I said, simply, "Yes, I think so too, because I saw you working here late every evening." "Marcus, he always left early." I nodded. "Sarah, thank you, but I don't want to think about these things." Sarah looked at me. There was disappointment in her eyes, as if asking, why is she staying silent? But I wasn't staying silent. I was just waiting for the right moment. Wednesday morning, when I woke up, a tension gripped my stomach. But it wasn't fear. It was adrenaline. I put on my navy blue suit. David asked special meeting. Yes, I said. Something important. "Good luck, honey," he said, kissing my forehead. My son Jake was eating cereal in the kitchen. He was a high school senior. "Mom, you look good. Strong." I smiled. "Thank you, Jake." While driving, a song was playing on the radio. Taylor Swift's "Look What You Made Me Do." Ironic. I don't trust nobody and nobody trusts me, ... I tapped my fingertips on the steering wheel. Following the rhythm today, everything was going to change. When I arrived at the office, it was 9:30. The meeting was at 10 o'clock. Jennifer Morrison was waiting for me in the lobby. Black suit, leather bag, sharp eyes, a true warrior. "Are you ready, Charlotte?" "Yes," I said. "Remember," said Jennifer, "stay calm. Don't be emotional. Just present the facts. Let the evidence speak. Understood?" As we rose in the elevator, Jennifer looked at me. "Charlotte, today we're not just judging Marcus. We're judging the system too. How Patricia Williams was so easily deceived, how the board made decisions without investigation. All of it." She was right. The elevator door opened. 12th floor. Executive floor. Asterisk, the conference room was large. Long glass table, leather chairs, city view. Patricia Williams was sitting at the head. Next to her were CFO Daniel Brooks, Linda Freeman, and 3 more board members. And in the back corner, Marcus Hayes. When he saw me, his face went pale. "Literally drained of color, Charlotte." He said, shocked. "What? What are you doing here?" Patricia stood up. "Mrs. Miller, please sit down. Ms. Morrison, you too." We sat. Patricia placed her hands on the table. "Charlotte, you said you would inform us about an urgent ethical matter. We're listening." My throat was dry, but I spoke. "Thank you, Patricia. I need to be here because a serious intellectual property violation occurred at this company." Patricia raised her eyebrows. "What do you mean?" Jennifer intervened. "Mrs. Williams, please look at these documents." Jennifer placed a folder on the table. Everything was in it. File metadata, email chains, original drafts, TIMESTAMPS. Patricia opened the folder. Started turning the pages. Silence. Only the rustling of paper could be heard. Marcus jumped to his feet. "Patricia, this is ridiculous." "Whatever Charlotte is saying, sit down, Mr. Hayes," said Patricia, her voice like ice. Not Marcus sat. His hands were trembling. Jennifer began speaking. Professional, clear. Sharp. The Meridian Tech project was designed, written, and developed by Mrs. Charlotte Miller. Mr. Marcus Hayes claimed to be in an assistant role during this process. But the truth is, he produced no original content. He only copied Mrs. Miller's files, resaved them on his own computer, and presented them as his own. Daniel Brooks, the CFO, leaned forward. That's a serious allegation. Do you have proof? Of course, said Jennifer. Page 3. The original strategic framework file. Created by Mrs. Miller on February 12th. The same file appears on Mr. Hayes's computer as created. On February 15th, 3 days later. Same content, word for word. Linda Freeman nodded. This is metadata manipulation. Yes, said Jennifer. And this is just one example. There are 19 similar files in the folder. Patricia was silently examining the pages. Her face was like stone. Marcus began speaking in panic. Patricia, please listen. Yes, Charlotte and I worked together, but I contributed too. I gave ideas too. The file names might just be mixed up, Marcus, I said, raising my voice for the first time. Don't lie. Everyone turned to me. I continued. You gave no ideas. You sat silently at every meeting, taking notes. Every strategy came from me. Every graph, every analysis, every word. And every time you said, Charlotte, you're amazing. But then what did you do? You took everything and presented it as your own. My voice was trembling but strong. Patricia raised her head. Mrs. Miller, do you have emails? Your correspondence with Mr. Hayes. Yes, I said. I showed screenshots from my phone. Right here. Marcus asks me, this strategic framework is great. Can I use this in the presentation? And I say, sure, but please present it as teamwork because this is the product of 20 years of my experience. Patricia read that email, then looked at Marcus. Mr. Hayes, is this true? Marcus's face turned bright red. Patricia, I said teamwork. Charlotte's name, no, I said firmly. My name wasn't mentioned once in the board meeting. You said team, but you never said my name? Because you wanted everyone to think you did it. Linda Freeman intervened. Mrs. Miller, why didn't you speak up earlier? Why didn't you say something at the meeting? Good question. I took a deep breath. Because, Mrs. Freeman, I'm a woman. I'm 52 years old. I've been at this company for 22 years, but I'm still seen as a team player. When someone like Marcus comes along Harvard MBA, charismatic, articulate, everyone believes him. If I had spoken up, it would have said I was jealous. They would have said I was disrupting team spirit. That's why I stayed silent and gathered evidence. Silence. Patricia closed her eyes, as if trying to understand something, then opened them, and looked at Marcus, double quotes, Mr. Hayes. Do you have a defense? Marcus's voice cracked. Patricia, this is a misunderstanding. Charlotte is a great employee, but I contributed too. This project was our joint work enough, said Patricia. Her voice was so cold the room froze. Mr. Hayes, you came to this company 6 months ago. Your resume was impressive. But now I understand that you got here by stealing other people's work. And you did it at our company too. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. Patricia, please, this meeting is over, said Patricia. Mr. Hayes, report to Human Resources tomorrow at 9 a.m. A disciplinary investigation will be initiated. Marcus stood up. He was trembling. He looked at me. There was hatred in his eyes. You destroyed me, Charlotte, he said. No, Marcus, I said calmly. You destroyed yourself. Marcus left the room, slammed the door. Patricia turned to me. Mrs. Miller, I apologize. This shouldn't have happened. We failed to protect you, Jennifer responded. Mrs. Williams, this isn't just about an apology. This is a structural problem. If you don't hear Mrs. Miller's voice, others will stay silent too. Patricia bowed her head. You're right. The meeting ended. We stood up. Linda Freeman came over to me. Charlotte, you're a brave woman. Thank you, I said. But inside me wasn't anger, it was peace. Because I had finally spoken up, and that voice would echo. That evening when I got home, the sun was setting. In the quiet streets of Pinecrest Heights, the shadows of trees stretched across the ground. I looked out the car window, and for the first time in a long time, I could breathe. I could truly breathe. David met me at the door. "How did it go?" he asked. I smiled. "It went well." He hugged me. "Will you tell me about it?" "Yes," I said. "But let me take a shower first. Then I'll tell you everything." In the bathroom, as the hot water hit my skin, I closed my eyes. Something had happened today. I hadn't just destroyed Marcus. I had saved myself the next morning when I went to the office. Everything had changed. Marcus's office was empty. The vice president of strategy plaque on the door had been removed. His desk was cleared, as if he had never been there. Sarah ran over to me. "Charlotte, did you hear? Marcus was fired." "Really?" I said calmly. "Yes. Human Resources sent an email this morning. Mr. Marcus Hayes's employment has been terminated due to ethical violations." Everyone's in shock. "I see," I said. Sarah looked at me. There was something in her eyes. Admiration. Gratitude. "Charlotte," she whispered, "you did it, didn't you?" I smiled at her. "Sarah, I just told the truth." She nodded. "Sometimes telling the truth is the hardest thing. But you did it." I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. There was an email in my inbox from Patricia Williams, subject, "Meeting request, Charlotte. Please come to my office today at 2 p.m. There's an important matter we need to discuss. Respectfully." Patricia, my heart raced. But this time, not from fear, from curiosity. At 2 p.m., I entered Patricia's office. She was sitting behind her glass desk. But this time, there was a different expression on her face. Softness, regret. "Charlotte, please sit," she said. I sat. Patricia took a deep breath. "First, I want to formally apologize to you. As a company, we failed to protect you. We should have noticed what Marcus Hayes was doing early on. But we didn't see it. Or we didn't want to see it." "Thank you, Patricia," I said. "But I didn't call you here just to apologize," she said. Patricia pulled out a folder. "Charlotte, you've been working at this company for 22 years. The Meridian Tech Project is your work, and now everyone knows it." She opened the folder. Inside was a document. "Vice President of Strategic Development position," said Patricia. "It's yours. If you accept, of course." My eyes locked on that document. Vice President. After 22 years of working silently, watching others shine, being seen as a team player, finally. "Patricia," I said, my voice slightly trembling. Is this real?" "Yes, Charlotte, and you deserve much more than you're getting." "Also," she said, pulling out another paper, "you'll receive the 30% bonus payment for the Meridian project retroactively. The amount paid to Marcus will be recovered and transferred to you." Bonus. This wasn't money. It was justice. "I accept," I said. "Of course I accept." Tricia smiled. This time it was a genuine smile. "Wonderful. Then welcome, Charlotte, to the executive team." She shook my hand. And at that moment, in that simple handshake, I felt something. It wasn't victory. It wasn't anger either. It was peace. That evening, David and the kids and I celebrated. David made my favorite meal, grilled salmon with lemon butter. Jake said, "Mom, you're a real boss." My daughter Emma video called from college. "I'm so proud of you, Mom." Pride. David held my hand. "I always knew, Charlotte. You're a strong person." "Thank you," I said. But I added to myself, I wasn't strong. I learned to be strong. Weeks passed. Life returned to normal. But it was a different normal now at the office. I was now working as vice president. I had my own office. Glass walls, city view, a large desk. Bigger than Marcus's. In my first week, I held a team meeting. 8 people were there, including Sarah. "Hello, everyone," I said. "As you know, I'm Charlotte Miller, the new vice president. But I want to tell you something. I didn't come here to be a boss. I came here to work together. Everyone's voice must be heard. Everyone's contribution must be seen. And no one, absolutely no one, can steal someone else's work." Silence. Then applause. Sarah was wiping her eyes. Asterisk a few weeks later. "I've received a notification on LinkedIn. Marcus Hayes has sent you a connection request." I raised my eyebrows. I couldn't take it seriously. I clicked. I looked at his profile. He was no longer working at Silver Lake. It said seeking new opportunities. His photo was old with a forced smile. He had written a message. "Charlotte, I know I have no right to talk to you, but I wanted to apologize. What I did was wrong. I stole your work, and I'm paying the price for it. I hope someday you can forgive me, Marcus." I read it once, twice, then. I didn't write back delete because some people learn to apologize too late. And some apologies aren't accepted. A month later, the CEO of Meridian Tech, Richard Lawson, came to visit. To Silver Lake's office, to my office. "It's Mrs. Miller," he said, shaking my hand. "Finally meeting you. I thought I was working with Marcus, but I learned that the real genius is you." I smiled. "Thank you, Mr. Lawson." "Meridian Tech wants to sign a new 5-year contract with Silver Lake. But we have one condition. You must be the project leader." At that moment, I felt time stop. 5-year contract. Project leader me. Patricia was next to me. She looked at me and nodded. "Do you accept, Charlotte?" "Of course," I said. Richard Lawson smiled. "Excellent. Then let's begin." That evening, driving home, I turned on the music in the car. Sarah Bareilles' Brave was playing on the radio. Say what you want to say, and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave. I sang along. My voice was trembling, but strong. When I got home, the sun had set. But the moon was shining. David was sitting on the balcony. "Come here, Charlotte," he said. "I want to show you something." I sat next to him. He held my hand and we looked at the sky. "Do you see that star?" said David. "The brightest one." "Yes," I said. "Like you," he said, "shining even in the darkness." My eyes filled with tears, but this time not from pain, from happiness. Months passed. The Meridian Tech project was a huge success. Silver Lake's revenue increased by 40%. Forbes magazine nominated us for the year's Best Marketing Campaign Award. And me, I wasn't just an employee anymore. I was a leader. I was receiving messages on LinkedIn from young women. "Mrs. Miller, I heard your story. You've become my inspiration. Charlotte, I also faced injustice at work. Your courage gave me strength." I read every message. I responded to each one, because now I knew silence is power. But speaking is even more powerful. A year later, at Silver Lake's annual gala night, I spoke on stage. "Good evening," I said. "My name is Charlotte Miller. I'm 53 years old. I've been at this company for 23 years. And I want to tell you something." The room was silent. Sometimes in life, you face injustice. Your work is stolen. Your voice isn't heard. And you think about staying silent, because speaking up is scary. But I want you to know, speaking is the most powerful weapon. Gather your evidence. Tell the truth. And never, never give up. Applause. Standing ovation. Sarah was crying in the front row. Patricia was smiling. David was looking on with pride. And me, I felt at peace, because true justice wasn't revenge. True justice was being able to walk in peace. Today, I'm the executive vice president of Silver Lake. My office is on the 15th floor. On the wall hang my diplomas, my awards, and most importantly, a framed copy of the original design document for the Meridian Tech project. It reads, "Designed by Charlotte Miller. February 2024, no one can steal my work anymore because I'm visible now and my voice is heard. Marcus Hayes. Last I heard, he was working at a small agency in another state. He had changed his LinkedIn profile. It said seeking redemption. Redemption? I hope he finds it. But that's not my problem. My job is to inspire young women, to show them that justice sometimes comes slowly. But it comes. And when a woman is strong, the world changes. True justice is silent, but its echo lasts for years. If you've also faced injustice in your life, I want you to know you're not alone. You have a voice. You have power. And remember, do you know when a woman becomes powerful? When she's no longer afraid? If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe so more stories of justice can be heard, because every woman is the hero of her own story. And sometimes, true victory is simply staying standing.